What to do when an attorney tries to kill your real estate deal. That's the topic of today's show. But before we jump into today's listener question, by the way, thank you for sending that in. If you have not been to our website, nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script, I've got a gift there for you. And that gift is the exact script that we've used in our business to lock up over 1,300 real estate deals, right? And this is the exact script, step by step, that my team uses. I remember when I first got started, I just didn't know what to say, right? Didn't know when to say it, how to say it, if it was right or wrong, the tonality, right? Long story short, I've taken all the experience I've had over the last 20 years and developed this thing. And not only has my team use this script, but thousands of the best real estate investors across the country use this exact script in their business to lock up tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of deals. This thing is an absolute monster tool. So go ahead and download it for free. My gift to you, nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. So that being said, let's listen to today's question.
Hi, Todd. This is Paris Jackson. I'm calling out of Chicago. This is my question. Have a deal. We got an attorney. He's trying to nix the deal, actually. We have a property under contract with the seller at a price that she loves. The seller and her husband, they have a daughter-in-law who's an agent. My partner thought it would be a good idea if we include the agent, because the seller canceled the contract with her daughter-in-law agent. My partner thought it would be a good idea if we include her in on the transaction. So what happened is I made a phone call, let her know who we were, what we were trying to do, include her in on the transaction. And I'll say about a week later, the seller stopped answering our phone calls. And the daughter-in-law, she stopped answering our phone calls. And about a half a week after that, later found out that the agent called us and said that the attorney told the seller to cancel the contract with us. Let me rewind. It was more an offer, but she hadn't signed yet. So let me at least put that in there. And I'm just wondering, like, how would you handle an attorney?
Man, great question, Paris. So one thing I really want to emphasize here is there's a big difference between an offer and a contract, right? If you've got a contract and someone's trying to cancel that contract, that's totally different than if you've got an offer and trying to get the seller to sign that offer. But let me backtrack here, because this all starts at the beginning of the transaction. Sometimes an investor or a wholesaler or real estate professional says, oh, this deal fell apart because of the agent or the attorney. And so I want you to look at the entire process, and everything that you do up front to solidify this deal and build trust is going to hold the deal together as you progress, before you sign the contract, at signing, and all the way to the closing table. So my first recommendation here is you got to condition the seller, right? Condition the seller. So what does that mean? I'm going to get into the specifics of that. But you've got to condition the seller. If you knew that an attorney or a real estate agent investor was going to, a real estate agent was going to be involved, you want to condition them on what that's going to look like. More on that in a second, okay? But number one thing is that you want to build lots of rapport. Why do we build rapport? Because if we know that, first of all, you want to do it whether an attorney or a real estate agent is not involved. But real estate attorneys and real estate agents, they kill deals. They kill deals. They kill deals. Now, I can't promise you they're not going to kill yours, but I'm going to give you some steps so that you can hold on to the deal at least 75 to 80% of the time. Most new investors or most people who lose stuff, they kind of go about this the wrong way, and they give the sellers resistance when they want to talk to their attorney or an agent, right? And you want to be the opposite. So you want to embrace that. Oh, it's so great that this real estate agent is involved. I'm glad that your sister, who's an agent, she's going to help you out. Oh, you want to send this to your attorney? Oh, great idea, right? And so you want to have a big smile on your face. And again, you want to build so much rapport with them that if there's an issue, right, that they will come back to you. Now, I've talked about the 3 levels of rapport in other episodes, right? But you want it to be so that if there's an objection, that the seller wants to do business with you so bad that they're going to tell you the objection. But let me tell you a little bit about conditioning, because probably what happened is the lawyer saw your contract and they're trying to justify their fee. And so for me, I don't know about you, but I've never sent anything over to my attorney and they've said, great, this looks great, perfect, you don't need me. Never happened. And I've been in business for 20 years. They're always going to come back with something, right? So that they can justify whatever it is that you're paying them. So you have to prep them for that. So one of the things I'll say is, I think it's great that you're going to send this to your attorney, but I do want you to give a heads up before you talk to him. When you send over this agreement, what he's going to do, or she's going to do, is she's going to rip up the contract. She's going to scream up and down. She's going to throw the chair across the room, and they're going to scream profanities saying that you shouldn't do the deal and why this is a bad idea. I mean, I'm just telling you that every ever attorney that I've mentioned is going to do that. So I want to prep you. So when that happens, right, what are we going to do? And then zip it, right? If there's a real estate agent you think they might kill the deal, do the same exact thing. So that when the attorney comes back and says, hey, you know what? I don't like this or that. It's way, 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 way better than what you told them, right? But they are conditioned to think that the attorney is going to freak out. So that's what I would do. Now, once the seller tells the lawyer, oh man, you know, Todd says that you were actually going to freak out, right? Is the attorney actually goes the other way. And they say, well, maybe not freak out, but there's a couple things here I'd like to change. You know, this line 3 and line 5 and, and so you actually condition the lawyer. They feel actually complimented in this, and they're not going to take it as hard on you, even though they met you. Now, this is not every attorney, but this stuff works. So now, okay, you also want to get on the attorney's side and say, hey, by the way, I'm totally open to you talking to the attorney. You know, if you want me to get on the phone with them, I think that's great, and I'd love to make that happen. So first you prep them. And once they're prepped, then you want to try to get on the phone with the attorney and make that happen. Now, attorneys only have one thing in mind, and that's their hourly rate and the fee they're going to get, right? There's a conflict of interest there with their client. If they say, if your contract's perfect and, you know, they send it over, you know, they're not going to make any money, right? So they have to earn their money. And now that this contract is in front of them, right? If you do the deal with them right now, they actually are going to make some money there. So you want to take advantage of the fact that the lawyer is going to write up the paperwork. So I always tell the lawyer, hey, listen, I know you don't like my paperwork. How about you just write up the paperwork? Okay, I'm really flexible. You write up the contract and I'm good with that. And let me tell you, this is a game changer, because once you tell the lawyer to write up the contract, now he's going to go from making, I don't know, $200 from reviewing your contract to now $2,500. And now all of a sudden, he's happy to do the deal, or she's happy to do the deal, because they're going to make some money. Now, you may freak out and say, oh, this isn't my contract, and what about this, or what about that? I can tell you that most of these contracts are mostly the same. There's some small nuances there, and so I'm going to read it. Listen to this. I find that most attorneys, though, pull some template off the internet, and their contract is actually more favorable to me than the contract that I was going to use in the first place. I know that sounds bizarre, but the only thing I care about really is the price, right? I'm looking to get a great price on the property. And if I can close on it, there's not a huge deal there. There's nothing crazy in the contract, right? I'm going to do that deal, right? So we just did one where the seller wrote up the contract and it says, seller will retain all security deposits. Seller will retain March's rent, and the tenant will not pay the seller. Seller will not be responsible for any damage done to the property by the tenant in the next 30 days in like big, bold letters. And that was like, you know, pennies compared to the entire contract. Meanwhile, we got the deal at like $85,000 to $90,000 spread. I'm talking profit. So it's like an $80,000 or $90,000 deal. So I'm not fighting with the attorney over a $500 security deposit, right? But they have to earn their money. So I signed the contract, sent it over to the attorney, happy as a clam. And that attorney showed me, right? They showed me who was boss, and now the seller feels taken care of. And guess what? We get to do our real estate deal. So a key of this is also dropping your ego. I love to let the attorney win or the real estate agent win as much as possible, right? Let them win everywhere except for price, right? If I can get the price I need, and they want to put all these like little things in there, right, to justify their fee, I'm going to let them do that, right? So that's how you hold on to the deal when the attorney feels like they're winning. A little reminder here, though. Number one, you've got to condition the seller, right? The attorney's going to freak. The real estate agent's going to freak. They're going to throw stuff across the room. But hey, once they do that, they calm down. Why don't we get on the phone and make a deal happen? Number two, build that rapport so they tell you what those objections are. Three is you want to have the attorney draw up the paperwork if they're involved, right? Make them feel like they're in control and justifying their fee. And now they start getting paid. They start getting paid. So now they want the deal to go through. Okay. Remember to let them win as much as possible, even with a real estate agent, except for the price, right? Close the deal and collect that check. So Paris, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you. And by the way, all the listeners, thank you for listening to this and sending in your questions. If you've got a question, send it to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, or you can hit me up at Todd Toback. Maybe I'll answer your question. Don't forget to head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script and download that tool and start doing some deals today. And I will talk to you on the next episode.